Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome back to another patch note breakdown. So this is for patch 25.10. I will say, just as a quick update, because sometimes I'm obviously recording content and then you're not seeing it for a few days. All I'll just say is I hope you guys get to really enjoy the content that's upcoming and has been the last couple of days. I think we've taken a really good step, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Yeah, I think things are a lot better now. So let's get into it. So the new game mode, Brawl, is actually launching this patch. So I think I will try to do a bit of videos about it, maybe just one, and see how it does. But yeah, we'll see how it does. So not the biggest patch. I do know AP items are being updated, but we're getting nerfs to actual champions, to Fiddlesticks, Kayn, Lulu, Neferi, Xin Zhao, and Yuumi. I literally said a few patches ago where Yuumi got buffed. Oh, she doesn't need buffs. Surprise, surprise, she's getting nerfs. And then buffs to ChoGath, Senna, and Smolder. Adjustments to Vi. System changes to AP items and Unsealed Spellbook. And then we're getting two new Blood Moon skins. Rise and Yorick. And then we're getting a Stargazer Vex skin. So let's get into it. So yeah, the new mode, obviously if you missed my video kind of talking about it, basically it's Arena from Smite. But obviously they couldn't call it Arena in League because we already have an Arena mode that is different. But basically it's a bit like ARAM, but it's not random. You get to pick your champion. There's one lane that minions are going towards a portal, and both teams have a health bar. That health bar can go down from champion kills, minion kills, and when minions go in the enemy portal. So if you're absolutely destroying the enemy, your minions are just going to continuously go into their portal and the game will be over pretty quick. So I'll give it a go and I'll explain it more in detail obviously when it is ready, but it is out tomorrow of me recording this. So yeah, some LP stuff is happening for SEA servers. But let's get into the actual changes. So ChoGath, base attack speed increased, Q damage decreased, and E damage increased. So ChoGath is currently performing too well in mid, while needing some help in top lane. So changing his base attack speed and Vorpal Spikes are aimed to close the gap between Hail Blades and Grasp setups. Well, obviously Hail Blades is more for damage burst, and Grasp setup is for more scaling top laner, really. While Rupture changes are targeted at generically powering down his mid lane specifically. So, yeah, getting better level 1 attack speed. The Rupture damage is going down starting at rank 2. So, yeah, less wave clear, less damage on a squishier mage, let's say. And then the Vorpal Spikes, again, damage. So, the only changes happening is here, which is the target's maximum health. So, if this is a buff, which it is, of target's maximum health, that's better against things like in top lane, who are like, a Set or a Trundle or a Yorick or something tanky Ornn that has a lot more health than a typical mid laner does. So yeah, they're trying to shift him out of any type of mid. Kayn has been Kayn has been an above average champion of late. Always is, pretty much. But yeah, blue, red Kayn are actually fairly even in terms of win rate, which is pretty cool. As a result, we're going to for a generic nerf to both Kayns that won't hurt his already weak early game. So yeah, his health growth is going down. So blue Kayn will feel that more because he doesn't really buy any health. Red Kayn won't feel it as much because he does buy health anyway. Lulu, armor growth decreased, R cooldown increased. So again, Lulu's very strong, very consistent. And that's the thing. If a champion is consistently good, they a lot of the time can be considered too strong. So we've been nerfing Lulu a lot. But she's still quite powerful in solo queue. We're looking to make some more unconventional nerfs to Lulu in order to get her more acceptable place long term. So her armor growth is going down, making her squishier. And her ultimate, the cooldown of it, is going up 20 seconds at rank 1, 10 seconds at rank 2, and it's evening out at rank 3, level 16. But how many games you actually get to level 16 as a Lulu? Not that many. So yeah, this is a more early game nerf to make her more vulnerable, not be able to play make as much with her ultimate. I'm kind of okay with that because she is pretty damn good. Fiddlesticks. Q fear duration decreased and damage adjusted. W damage increased as well. So yeah, support Fiddle has done pretty good and has become more popular than jungle Fiddlesticks, which they're okay with, except for the fact that he's clearly more powerful as a support. So they are just changing it around so the fear doesn't fear as much, which obviously is more of a support thing to consistently fear people in lane phase. The damage of it, the target's current HP is also going down, but it's getting a nerf in terms of the base percentage, but a buff in terms of the ability power percentage, because obviously a support Fiddlesticks, in theory, unless they get mega fed, they won't have as much AP throughout a game as a jungle equivalent, because a jungle equivalent is farming a lot. So that's kind of what they're trying to do there. And that also reflects in the empowered damage as well. And then the Bountiful Harvest, the Sucky, is also getting an ability power increase. So obviously the fear duration is a pretty decent nerf. The percentage early is a decent nerf, but obviously where they are keeping strength is, if you are building a lot of AP because you are carry Fiddlesticks playing jungle, you won't feel this as much. You'll feel this as a support though when you can't buy that much stuff. So yeah. Nefari, whatever the hell. Yeah, still too strong. So we're looking to bring down Nefari jungle just a bit more this patch, as she's still somewhat overpowered. And again, remember, Riot does not like using the word overpowered. So the fact that they are using that word, it shows, yeah, she's still really strong. And she is the most banned champion also in the game right now. So their mid is unscathed, because basically it's just monster damage for her passive. So it slows down her jungle clear, etc. So she probably needs more nerfs even than that, but they're probably being a bit tentative, but yeah. Senna, passive crit chance and soul drop increase, Q heal decrease. So I will say, I don't know what's happened. I mean, the last few patches where Senna has been, Riot is really obsessed, and it is worth saying, I think it's something Senna specific that they cannot fully understand. Well, they can't make up their mind of what she is, and inherently that's the problem with her kit. Is when they released her, they said, she's an AD carry, but she's also a support. She can do both. It is incredibly hard to balance a champion that is both an AD carry, in theory the highest carry potential role in the game, and the support role that is supposed to help that AD carry class. For a champion to be both of those things, it's really hard to balance both of them at the same time together. And it's easier when Riot goes, okay, yeah, AD carry's a bit silly for Senna, let's make her a support. Well, then you focus around support. Or we're going to make her an AD carry. Okay, she's not really a support at the moment. When they're trying to do both, it's where this champion gets a little bit bonkers with being too strong. Because if you play her in support, but when she's balanced as an AD carry, she's doing way too much damage for a support. And also, that also usually always puts things like Tamkench bot lane, ChoGath bot lane, that lanes with a Senna, because then you get basically an extra big boy tanky thing in place of an AD carry, where they're getting all the farm. Senna's the support, but she builds as an AD carry. So it's really difficult to actively get right. So, yeah. So they crit chance per 20 stacks is obviously a buff for AD carry Senna, and the soul rate on monster minion kill is important, because right now, if she kills a minion in lane, there's only an 8.4% chance it will drop a soul. But now if she kills one, it's a 14%. So that's important. If she's the one actually last hitting as an AD carry, the percentage has gone up. When she isn't last hitting them and she's around the area, I think the rate at the moment is even above 40. I think it's 20% or something like that. If someone wants to correct me what officially it is, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so this is a buff to AD carry. And then also the Piercing Darkness. What are they doing here? So it's an ability power nerf on her Q. Why? I guess for support item, like actual support items, if she buys any of those, that's a nerf to them. Interesting. Okay. Smolder, again, very incredible late game, absolute hyper carry. Arguably is the most powerful hyper carry in League of Legends nowadays. So we'd like to give Smolder a shot in the arm / wing this patch, since his last update managed to largely remove his stalling aspect from pro play. We think there's room to re-add some of his stack scaling that he lost. So I would say if they're giving him just all-out buffs, there should be a nerf somewhere in here because it would be too much. So his passive, Q damage per stack, is going up by a 0.1 per, which again, that adds up a lot, by the way, so don't think that's a little amount. It does add up. The Q burn per 100 is again going up by 0.1. The E damage per stack is going up by 0.02. So these are all tiny, tiny, tiny numbers. But remember, per stack, per 100 stack, Smolder gets to 200 plus stacks every game he gets to mid to late game. A really good Smolder in high rating, you can get 400-500 stacks by late game. Like, remember that. So it may seem like a little amount, but, you know, that right there is a 25% buff on that. You know, that's significant. So he could, you know, he already is a good late game champion. This is going to make him an even better one too. Vi. So I played a game of Vi today. You'll watch it in probably nearly a week's time by now, because I've actually got quite a lot of videos at the moment. But let's say it went well. So what are they doing? Q minimum damage decrease, max damage increase though. R mana cost reduced, damage decrease. Ooh, really? Vi has become a somewhat stale jungle presence and is expressing her power lately in reliably one-shotting an opponent's... That's the way that I played Vi today, to be honest. So yeah, basically one-shotting an opponent squishy in the late game with little room for counterplay. Yep, that's what I did. We'd like to re-add some variance in her gameplay without making her strictly weaker in the average case. Basically, just a small spoiler, I was against a Master E jungle, and there is no world, if I played Vi in a standard bruiser build, I can't kill him. You know, as a bruiser, I wouldn't have enough burst to kill him, and then I can't stand there trying to fight a Master E, punching him. I would just get killed. So my only way of actually beating a Master E was one-shotting him. So there was a logic to why I did it, but I'm going to be straight up. I would imagine for Vi's who play it consistently, a lot more than I do nowadays, I imagine there's a lot of matchups that the person just goes, oh, I can't fight them as a bruiser. I have to just try to one-shot them. So I imagine that's probably why it's happened. Now, again, if they don't add consistent DPS to Vi, one-shot will, in theory, always be better. So the minimum damage is going down. So again, what does the minimum damage mean? If you just tap it. Like, if you're not holding it to charge, if you just tap it, it's going to do less damage. But if you hold it and get a fully charged one, it's going to do more base damage, but less bonus AD. So again, for the full one-shot lethality build, you get a lot of a bonus AD. For bruiser build, you don't get as much bonus AD because you're buying some bruiser items that don't have as much AD on them. So there's that. The E, fix the bug where that's happening. The ultimate as well is being flattened to 100 mana, and the damage of it is going down. So basically, I'm going to be straight up. These are just nerfs to Vi. These aren't even buffs, really, at all to Bruiser Vi. These are just nerfs. Oh dear. That's not good, because I don't even think Vi's that strong. And the only way you can realistically play Vi consistently right now is one-shot lethality Vi. This isn't a buff to Bruiser at all, that I can tell. That's weird. Xin Zhao, armor growth decreased. I will say, okay, I'm actually going to say, he is a tanky boy. So, like, I think this is where this nerf is coming in. When I've played against Zins, his damage is decent. You know, it's on par, I would say, with, like, Jarvan and stuff like that. That's fine. But he is tanky. So they are giving him a lot less armor growth. You used to have 5 armor per level. It's now 4.4. So, fair enough. Yumi, cool. Then items. So, I'm not sure I'm going to be going through every single AP item here because they are just doing like an overhaul, but we'll read exactly what they're trying to do and see if I agree with it or not. So we've completed a pass on AP itemization this patch, which has resulted in bringing down the overperformers, buffing up the lower performers, and reshaping a few items toward a new player base. So I'd say, here's the problem, and I'll just add this before we get into it. If Riot do nothing about the meta, this will only hurt AP champions. So I think one of the things that they're bringing down is Leandries, right? Leandries is very strong. I'd admit to that. It is a good item, but we're in basically a high health meta. Like, we're in a high health, high damage meta when top laners are walking around with 5,000 health. Junglers are walking around with 4,000 health. AD carries at late game of over 3,000 health. That's not a burst mage meta. A mage can't burst that amount no matter what. So, Liandry's Darkfire percentage health is what is good right now. So if they are nerfing that, and they nerf survivability, if they nerf, you know, Rod of Ages in terms of being survival, if they nerf Seraph's Shield in terms of being survival, and they nerf Liandry's in terms of actually being the main core damage that mages can do right now, it's going to leave mages in a absolute terrible spot because they're not doing anything about the other classes that burst mages can't beat. That's the confusing thing. It's like recently when they nerfed Burn Annie and buffed Burst Annie, guess what? Her win rate, if people care about that, went from like a 53% to a 46% because it's not a burst meta. It doesn't matter if you buff a burst build, you cannot burst what is currently in the game. It just is not the right meta. Unless you change the meta, burst mages are always going to suck. So anyway, notable updates include Seraph's Embrace, where it'll often be stronger for mana-hungry champions like Cassiopeia or Kassadin, who will appreciate a more reliable shield. Horizon Focus is being broadened as a generally good item for any AP and haste-loving mage, and if any of its current users are left weak, we'll happily revisit them with buffs next patch. So they might give specific mage buffs next patch, okay. Hextech Rocket Belt is being pushed to be a more aggressive option that may woo assassins and light fighters like Evelyn Echo. Crypt Bloom is growing up to be a bit more direct comparison with Void Staff, and generally are pushing burst itemization to be completed sooner, and thus giving faster pattern spikes to assassins. Again, so as I said, it's not a burst meta. Even if you buff burst, it's still going to struggle. The only way that you could at all make it work, if they haven't changed anything about bruiser optimization or anything like that, is you make it basically, think of when a bruiser buys their first and second item, they are major power spikes and they're suddenly at 2,500-3,000 health. If you bring the itemization of burst mages even before that, like you'd have to bring it so much forward that burst mage would have to be able to snowball and get so far ahead that then they can snowball for a victory at 25 minutes. But that's not going to happen that much, you know? So we'll see. But Bloodletter's Curse, I don't think I've built the item once. Crypt Bloom or ability, we've got a lot more ability power, but it is a more expensive item. Rocket Bell, again, a lot of them are becoming more expensive, which, by the way, doesn't mean they're bringing the spike earlier, because it's going to take longer to get the item. But again, they are getting health is coming down, AP is going up. That is for burst. But again, like I said, if that's happening just for mages, then how are they going to fight anything bruiser? How are they going to fight anything tank? I don't know. I really don't see how they'd be able to. Whoa, a lot of ability power, but they have got rid of the hyper shot damage amp though. But that was the whole thing of the item. That's weird. And it's more expensive, so again, not bringing the power spike forward. Liandry's, so again, the percentage has not been changed, just less ability power. So it is a nerf for the item that you could say is the most reliable DPS item for mages in the last year. Lichbane, AP going down and becoming cheaper. That's weird. I guess they want to discourage Lichbane or have this as an option instead of Lichbane for echoes and stuff. Like a lot of echoes will rush Lichbane. They probably want people to rush this instead now. Luden's Companion is being just made cheaper. Malignant's more AP. Cheaper Morello. Cheaper Nashers. That's good for Kale. Rabadon's is also cheaper. Seraph's Lifeline Shield. Ooh. 18% max mana. Depending what champion you play, that could be a bigger shield. Storm Surge. Cheaper. More movement speed. But then this stuff gone. I don't know if I like this. I like the premise of it, but as I've said many times on it, I sound like a broken record. I like the premise of it. I just don't understand how you're putting burst mages in clearly a game and a meta that is not for burst at all. Burst is just not very good. So I do worry about that. And obviously, it's worth saying I don't play mid lane anymore because I don't think mid's that good. I've been only a top laner, and obviously been watching the main account recently. It's been going really well. I think by the time this video comes out, you've seen at one stage I have hit, I think, my LP record recently. You know, with Master 135 plus LP at the moment. So, you know, this is not going to bring me back to mid lane. Put it that way. Runes, Unsealed Spellbook. Again, people have asked me about this. I don't think I'll ever take this rune. I really don't like the idea of it. I never have. For me, I don't want, like, I like having a rune that I can rely on. Does that make sense? I've got Electrocute. When Electrocute's on call, I hit one with 3 things, they get a bit of damage. Or Phaser Rush, hit them with 3 things, and I can run fast. I like to know what I have at any given time, and Unsealed Spellbook is nothing. It gives you summoner spells. Summoners are alright, but they're not on the same level as, like, actual runes. So I've never got the urge to take this, but I think it's just certain players who, dare I say, like a bit of a chaotic playstyle, that suits them. It just doesn't suit me. Mythic Shop content upgrade, apparently. Skin updates. What's this? We don't normally talk about PBE and patch notes. We wanted to call out that on 25/11, you'll see updates to the previous Black Rose Masquerade skins for Elise, Vladimir, Samira, and Renata. If you own these skins already, there's no update from, there's no other purchase or anything. That is from the last Battle Pass that happened last season, officially. Yeah, they were really bad quality. So Riot's actually gone, let's give them a bit better, bit of a better polish. That's good. They don't have to do that. That season and Battle Pass has already happened, but I guess they do care a bit, so that's good at least. And then there's the new skins that are coming. So yeah, not the biggest patch. I'm okay with that. Not a lot of champion changes. Still no nerfs to Garen and Warwick. And I'll say, I'm still playing those champions occasionally in a decent level of Master right now, by the way. Like, they are really strong still. That's crazy. But yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please do enjoy the upcoming content, though. I'm really proud of what we're doing recently. But yeah, as always, obviously, I record this on the night. I edit it, upload it, etc., etc. And I will say, if you actually are watching this today, hello, Wednesday, tomorrow, is normally my day off. But I've got no plans tomorrow. I'm pretty confident I'm going to be doing it. In the afternoon, feel free to come to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/HuzzyGames. There's a game called The Precinct that I've been waiting for a very long time. I didn't know when it was launching. I got an email earlier by Steam saying a game on your wish list is now available, for you can have it. And I'm pretty sure The Precinct is now out. So I think I might stream that tomorrow afternoon. I won't play any League. I'll just play The Precinct. But yeah, if you want to come check out that, and it'll be pretty chill, no League of Legends, even though, again, League's been going really well recently, it's also good to do other things. So yeah, please do come, maybe 1 p.m. UK time. Yeah, that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to the Rift, where the legends play. It's Huzzy Games bringing skill every day. From tips to tricks and play so fine, you'll learn the game and have a good time. Thanks for watching, you're the real MVP. Hit that like and sub, join the family tree. Like, comment, and subscribe. Keep the Huzzy dream alive. Tune in on Twitch, it's the place to be. Huzzy Games Live, come hang with me. So hit that bell, don't miss a thing. Thanks for the love you're making me.